ahead of that second leg against Bayern, but it wasn't to be. It was a draw on the day, and it does mean that they are now 6 points behind Barcelona, and it could be more if Barcelona beat Espanyol on Saturday in the Catalan derby. It's not an easy time as it stands right now for Real Madrid. Luis Garcia was watching it for us today. He thought it might be a draw, but let me start with you, Craig. More drop points, not good news for Real Madrid.
And look, it's hard to watch that and make an argument for how Real Madrid are going to win in Munich. But we keep hearing about this Champions League just raises the standard, which it seems to have done certainly in the last game. But that's the standard that we've seen most of the season. In fact, that's maybe a slightly better than we've seen most of the season. But that's a kind of mediocre standard that we've seen from Real Madrid that's left them in this position that only Barcelona losing really will give them half a chance, because there's a Clásico coming in May 10th. A Barcelona win tomorrow, 9 points, you can forget it. And that's because there's been too many of these games. Too many games where teams have defended deep and defended in an organised way, but Real Madrid haven't been able to break it down. And when you saw some of the stuff, and I don't blame Kylian Mbappe, who's having this bit of a dry spell, the chances that he's missing are actually, I think, a lot of difficult chances. From angles, from balls coming over his head. It's not like he's missing sitters. But I look at Vinicius Junior today, and there was a 1 point right at the end. And we have talked all broadcast about crosses into the box and better delivery and more delivery. He had an opportunity with a minute or two to go on the left-hand side to put an easy cross in, and he tried to beat another two guys and gave it away. So that overcomplication from Real Madrid today it happened quite a lot. So just not a good enough performance. But again, we've seen this type of thing at the Bernabeu a lot this season.
And I think what we've seen from them is because they have so much talent, maybe somebody has a wonder strike from 25, or maybe there's just that moment where Mbappe is able to dribble a couple guys, or one of those 10 attempts that Vinny had of trying to dribble 6 guys. Maybe he pulls one off, and that's the odd goal that gives them the 3 points. But a well-organized Girona even gifted him a goal. Yeah. So, I mean, it's subpar.
If Gazzaniga doesn't throw that in the back of the net, we're looking at Real Madrid.
And I mean, Gazzaniga had a decent game. He makes the one mistake that gives the goal, but yeah, you lose 3 in a row, 2 of those being at home. No.
I don't know about Luis, but I just don't see. Having watched how Bayern played in the first leg, and they can play even better
at home,
I just don't see how this Real Madrid side can compete. When I see games like this, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
We're going to get to Bayern, but to that point, if you can't see how they're going to do it against Bayern, how can we be convinced that they do actually have a chance at the title in La Liga this season after tonight, Luis?
No, I don't think that is tomorrow Barcelona wins and gets the 3 points. With that gap with 9 points, it would mean that they have to win not only El Clásico, but another 2, and Barcelona lose another 2. So there are many things, and we don't go to that side. We go to what we can see of Real Madrid. Right now, they are so focused on the Champions League games that they kind of forgot that they might have a chance. You don't never know what is going to happen until the end of the season. It's still a lot of games to be played. A lot of things can change. But today, I think what we saw on the pitch is intention from Real Madrid, because you could see that there was an intention of trying to do something, but really no determination at all. Vinicius Junior wasn't as intense as we saw it against Bayern Munich. Mbappe just moving around, but just hanging there, waiting for the ball to arrive and maybe do his thing. In the middle of the park, we saw Jude Bellingham, because he hasn't been involved, the one who brought the heart and a little bit of the idea in the middle of the pitch, trying to arrive in the second line. But really, even Valverde, he scored a wonderful goal once again, as we've seen so many times. Today is like, okay, we are doing just enough to try to go away, to try to get something from today's game, because really the urgency was in the last maybe 20 minutes when Arbeloa started making changes, but really not the desire of we need these 3 points. Everyone is thinking about what is happening on the midweek game against Bayern Munich. I can understand it, but this is a big opportunity they miss of getting closer once again and put pressure on Barcelona, because Barcelona also has got a very important game in the middle of the week against Atletico in Madrid, so there will be rotation at the weekend, or maybe can draw points in a derby against Espanyol. So Real Madrid right now, I think that today threw the La Liga's trophy away.
Louis, go on.
Sorry, I was just going to say, I thought Stuart Robson and Rob Palmer were going to come to blows in the commentary over the very point Lewis is talking about. Rob Palmer's talking about Wednesday night, and Stuart Robson, and there's 2 points here. Wednesday night is a big game, it's a huge game, of course it is. But you got to take the old cliche, one game at a time, and you cannot basically say, right, we're unlikely to win the league, so I'll start to make some changes, looking ahead to the game in midweek, because this is the most important one. The more pressure you can put on Barcelona, the more chance that they are going to mess up. But when you give a team that sort of breathing space, the chances are they'll go out and beat Espanyol tomorrow, and it'll be 9 points. But if Real Madrid had been able to put more pressure on today, it sort of slightly changes the picture. And so I get it, Wednesday night issue. I know that. I know. But when you're in a title race, you have to take care of business first and foremost, and then look forward. And I just feel that, and I think Louis touched on it, they took their eyes off it, and he started to make changes. And he took Jude Bellingham off. Okay, he's not had much game time, and he's probably going to play Wednesday. But he was the guy, as Stuart Robson said, that was making those runs into the box, and he's well over 6 feet. And they haven't got many players of that physicality, so when crosses are coming in, you want that player. But he took him off with Wednesday night or midweek in mind, and there was a job to be done here, which they didn't do, and they're basically almost handing this title over to Barcelona.
And I think that's one of the tricky parts. When you have your two natural strikers, both love to get wide and come back in. And you don't have that out-and-out, number 9 who's just kind of in the middle. And so you then are very reliant on late runs from midfielders to fill that space. And when Bellingham left, that space didn't get filled. And then you combine it with Vinny making 7 cutbacks so nobody knows when to run in front of a defender. And Mbappe maybe just hasn't quite got back to form after he was out with the knee. And so there is some voids there that Real Madrid will need to address next season if they want to challenge for the title.
Real Madrid are basically they're laying their season on the line, saying, look, we'll come good in the Champions League.
Yeah.
Now that's a big ask now. Bearing in mind it was a hugely exciting first game. It was a brilliant game at the Bernabeu between Real Madrid and Bayern Munich. But I think anybody watching it, whilst Real Madrid had a lot of chances and were dangerous on the break, you'd be hard pressed to make an argument that Bayern Munich were not waste liquor. Passed it better, were more coherent as a team, and the way they moved around and they rotated, and they have got a natural number 9.
Yes, they do. Who
has had some injury issues and he's missed some games, and he's not fully fit, but still did the business at the Bernabeu. So it's a big risk when you're basically saying, right, this is it. This is what we're playing for this season now is the Champions League, and this is what we're going to lay this on the line, and almost to a certain extent.